A Pinellas County businessman is in hot water with a federal judge after ignoring court orders connected to his case. This is Leo Gavani. He's accused of stealing $100 million from the nonprofit he founded that was overseeing trust funds for disabled clients. And now he's facing contempt charges after today's court hearing. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer is live at the federal courthouse in downtown Tampa. So Aaron, what happened today?
Chris, a federal bankruptcy judge told Leo Gavani that he's in contempt of court, and if he continues to ignore court orders, he could go to jail. Now, for the first time since we broke this story more than a year ago, we got the chance to try to ask Gavani some questions as he walked into court this morning. Anything you want to say to the families impacted?
Question after question, we tried to get answers from Leo Gavani.
This is your chance to reach out to these people who are impacted. You've had over a year. What would you like to say? People think you're evil. Do you think that?
But Gavani wouldn't say a word. Neither would his attorney.
No comments right now. Thank you.
But the Pinellas County businessman accused of stealing millions from disabled clients had to answer plenty of questions in federal bankruptcy court Friday. A judge found him in contempt for ignoring orders to hand over financial records related to the 150 or so companies and properties he owned. The court is trying to determine how much money can be recovered from his assets to repay what he owes. Megan Murray, an attorney for the impacted families, says this is so difficult on them.
It's been really challenging for them. They have a lot of medical needs. Most of their medical needs are met by payment from trust funds, which are no longer there.
Gavani is the founder of the Center for Special Needs Trust in St. Pete, a nonprofit that handled trust funds for disabled people. The center filed for bankruptcy more than a year ago after discovering it was missing $100 million. Gavani is accused of taking the funds in the form of loans over a 10-year period for himself and at least one other company he owned. More than 1,500 families say their accounts were partially or completely emptied. A judge previously found him liable for the $100 million plus an additional $20 million in interest. We're told much of that money is needed for critical medical expenses.
It feels like a complete disregard for the victims' welfare and what they've been through over the last decade or so. The victims deserve better, and it was unfortunate to hear some of the things that were testified to because the victims, are really at a loss.
The companies for which Gavani must hand over records include Big Storm Brewing in St. Pete, which he partially owned, court records show. Earlier this year, the judge stripped Gavani of his ownership. Meanwhile, he was once again ordered to stop getting rid of his properties without permission after he was accused of selling one property for $1.6 million without the court's knowledge. So where is that money or the rest of what he owes? We tried to ask him.
Mr. Gavani, do you know where the money is anymore at this point? Yeah, so a lot of questions, and as you can see, no answers today. Gavani has faced state and federal investigations, but has not been charged up until this point. He will now be fined $5,000 a day until he produces those records to the court that he's been required to produce since back in September. He now has until May 12th to do so. And Chris, if he doesn't get the records handed over by then, he could be recommended to face criminal charges. So a lot to still play out within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the court wants to know what kind of property assets he has, because that's how they would sell some of those assets and recoup some of that money that the victims have lost, right?
That's exactly right, Chris. And Gavani himself has already sold some of those properties, which the court has found to be a bit of a problem because they want to be in charge of where that money goes, how it goes back, in theory, to the people who he's accused of taking from. So, yeah, he has had 150 properties. The court wants to know the status of those properties, where the records are, and that's what he has to produce within the next couple of weeks.
To try to make 1,500 families whole again. That's a challenge. All right, Aaron, Thank you.